Let's get right into it. Number 7. Swallowing gum kills you. You're 6 years old, chewing on a piece of bubble gum that tastes like expired strawberry perfume, and suddenly someone tells you, probably your mom, that if you swallow it, it'll stay in your stomach for 7 years. 7 whole years. As if your digestive system just decides to put up a little do not disturb sign and let that gum chill rent-free like it's on an extended Airbnb stay. In reality, gum doesn't hang around like some creepy squatter. Your body just doesn't fully digest it, so it slips right through your digestive tract and exits the same way everything else does. Spoiler alert, it's not glamorous. So why do parents tell you this horror story? Simple, because kids swallow gum all the time, and adults needed a quick scare tactic to stop us from turning into Pez dispensers. It's basically the same logic as saying, don't make that face or it'll stick that way. It's lazy parenting science. But here's the fun twist. While gum won't fossilize inside you, it can cause problems if you swallow insane amounts. There have been cases where kids formed literal gum blockages in their intestines, which sounds like the most embarrassing ER story of all time. Imagine explaining to a doctor that you're clogged up like a human gumball machine. So yeah, gum won't sit in your stomach until you graduate college. But your parents weren't totally lying. It's just a severely exaggerated way of saying, spit it out, kid. Basically, it's the digestive equivalent of telling you Santa's real. Number 6. Cracking knuckles gives you arthritis. You're sitting there cracking your knuckles like you're auditioning for the role of annoying little brother, and suddenly, you hear it. Stop that. You'll get arthritis. Here's the truth. Cracking your knuckles doesn't cause arthritis. What you're actually hearing is the sound of nitrogen bubbles popping in your joint fluid. It's basically your body burping internally. Gross? Absolutely. Dangerous? Not really. In fact, there was a scientist who literally cracked the knuckles of one hand for decades, just one hand, to prove the point. Spoiler, no arthritis. He even won an Ig Nobel Prize for it, which is basically the Oscars for bizarre science experiments nobody asked for. So why did parents spread this lie? Because cracking knuckles sounds like snapping celery in surround sound, and it creeps people out. They wanted you to stop, so they went for the ultimate scare tactic, permanent disability. You like that sound? Well, enjoy suffering at age 30, kid. The irony? Chronic knuckle cracking might cause some swelling or reduced grip strength, but arthritis? Nope. Your parents were just playing orthopedic boogeyman. Basically, your joints aren't breaking down, they're just throwing bubble wrap parties in there. Number 5. If you cross your eyes, they'll stay that way. Ah yes, the classic don't mess with your face myth. You're sitting at the dinner table, making weird eye contortions because, let's face it, that's peak comedy when you're 8. Then suddenly your mom drops the ultimate bomb. Stop it! Or your eyes will get stuck like that. You imagine waking up one day permanently cross-eyed, doomed to spend the rest of your life explaining to strangers that you once made a funny face for too long and, bam, instant eye mutation. The truth? Your eye muscles are very flexible, like tiny rubber bands that work overtime to keep you looking normal. Parents didn't say this because they were worried about your ophthalmology future. They just didn't want to stare at their kid doing a discount exorcist impression across the table. It's basically the same as saying, if you keep making that noise, I'll lose my mind, but weaponized with fake biology. So no, you're not going to lock your eyeballs in derp mode forever, but you will give everyone in the room secondhand annoyance, which is probably the real reason this myth exists. Number 4. Sitting too close to the TV ruins your eyes. Remember being a kid, 3 inches away from the TV screen, fully immersed in some low-res cartoon where the characters' outlines looked like they were drawn during an earthquake? That's when it happened. Don't sit so close. You'll ruin your eyes. Here's the thing, sitting too close doesn't permanently damage your vision. It just gives you temporary eye strain, the same way scrolling TikTok for 4 hours leaves you feeling like your eyeballs are filled with sand. Kids often sit close to screens because their eyes can actually focus up close better than adults. Basically, they're not broken, they're just showing off. Fun fact, this myth probably started back in the 1960s when some TV sets really were dangerous. Certain color TVs gave off radiation levels way above what's considered safe. We're talking mutant origin story levels. Companies eventually fixed it, but parents kept recycling the warning long after the danger was gone. So sitting close to the TV isn't frying your retinas, it's just giving you a preview of what working in front of a laptop 10 hours a day will feel like. The real long-term damage isn't to your eyes, it's to your posture. Because hunching over a screen for years basically turns you into a human shrimp. Number 3. Swallowing gum takes 7 years to digest. You're chewing gum, feeling like a rebel because technically this counts as candy, you can sneak into school. Then, oops, down the hatch. Panic mode. You suddenly remember what your parents said. That gum will stay in your stomach for 7 years. 7 years. Like it's applying for a mortgage inside your body. Here's reality. Gum is mostly indigestible, but that doesn't mean it just sits in your stomach like some sticky time capsule. Your digestive system is basically a very cranky assembly line. Whatever it can't break down, it just moves along and, well, you know how this ends. Yes, gum comes out the other side like any other unwanted guest. usually within a few days. So why do parents tell this lie? Because kids treat gum like a magic trick. Chew it, swallow it, repeat. And at some point, mom probably imagined an X-ray of her child with a giant ball of gum in their stomach, slowly fusing into some kind of colorful, rubbery organ. The 7 years thing was just a convenient way of making you stop before your digestive tract turned into Willy Wonka's recycling plant. The real risk of swallowing gum isn't the gum, it's when you swallow a lot of it along with other stuff. That's when blockages can happen. But unless you're speed-eating gum like a competitive sport, you're fine. Which means the biggest danger here is not medical, it's being the weird kid who casually swallows gum on purpose. Number 2. Cracking knuckles gives you arthritis. There you are, stretching your fingers and giving them a satisfying pop, when suddenly your parent looks at you like you've just signed up for a lifetime of joint misery. Stop that right now, you'll get arthritis. This one sounds legit, right? Bones cracking illo future cane collection. The noise isn't your bones grinding or your joints disintegrating, it's just gas bubbles popping in the fluid inside your joints. It's like opening a soda can, but less refreshing and more horrifying to anyone within earshot. Actual studies, yes, people have been paid to research this, found no link between cracking knuckles and arthritis. The most you risk is a little joint swelling if you're really overdoing it, but even that is temporary. Arthritis, on the other hand, comes from genetics, age, or actual wear and tear, not from making your hands sound like a bubble wrap session. So where did this myth come from? Probably annoyance. Parents just didn't want to listen to their kids sounding like a haunted marionette at the dinner table. Instead of saying, "That noise makes me want to walk into the ocean," they upgraded it to, "That noise will ruin your future." Classic parenting tactic, weaponize fake science to keep the peace. In the end, cracking your knuckles won't doom you to arthritis, but it will make everyone within a 10-foot radius plot your downfall. Number 1, if you cross your eyes, they'll get stuck. You're a kid, bored at the dinner table, and you decide to spice things up by crossing your eyes. Then comes the warning. Stop that right now, or they'll get stuck like that forever. And suddenly you're panicking, imagining a future where you walk into job interviews looking like a chameleon that's given up on life. Here's the truth. Your eyes have 6 little muscles each that let them move around in all directions. When you cross your eyes, those muscles are just doing a synchronized workout. The second you relax them, your eyes snap back into alignment like elastic bands. Unless you've got an actual medical condition, they're not going to lock into crossed position permanently. So why do parents push this lie? Easy, because crossed eyes look unsettling. It's like your face is glitching, and kids will never stop doing it once they find out it freaks people out. So parents came up with the ultimate deterrent, the horror movie scenario of your eyes freezing mid-cross. Basically, it's the visual equivalent of, your face will get stuck like that if the wind changes. Ironically, if you actually tried to keep your eyes crossed all day, you'd just get a headache and probably start seeing double, which, to be fair, would make it really hard to win an argument about dinner vegetables. But permanent cross-eyed doom? Not happening. So, yeah, this one was never about science. It was about getting you to stop making your parents uncomfortable by looking like a possessed doll every time you got bored. Which, fair enough. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.